Hello, everyone. So, I have yet another Dario Argento directed movie, but this time it's a collaboration with the legendary George Romero of the Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Living Dead, and so many other movies. Argento worked for the screenplay, if I'm not mistaken, for Dawn of the Living Dead, the one that features the shopping mall. And, they became good friends. So, over time, and said, hey, let's do a collaboration with Wes Craven and John Carpenter. Ooh, that would have been such a bloody, brilliant anthology, but due to one reason or another, those two backed out. I think they're probably filming something else. So instead, we have ultimately what became Two Evil Eyes. This is a Blue Underground release from the 1989 movie that combines a lot of Edgar Allan Poe poems, references, etc. One of them is called The Case of Ernie Ladanas or whatever. I'm trying to remember. The other one is The Black Cat. No relation to the Lucio Fulci movie. The first one is directed by Dario Argento, which features a man who is under hypnosis, and there are two people who are kind of helping with his estate. There's a woman and there's a man who's a doctor, and the woman goes to an attorney and says, yeah, would you mind trying to sign all these papers, that way I can have money. I was like, I need the money, I'm not society. And behind the scenes, the doctor is a hypnotist, so he puts the old man underneath hypnosis where he can respond and everything, but he cannot motion or he cannot walk or anything like that. He has a beard, which I liked for whatever reason, but yeah. And these two, think that they're going to start being like they're going to get rich because they sign they get him to sign everything. But when the attorney looks at the signatures of the two, and it's almost like he's a handwriting expert being called into Pawn Stars. So yeah, at the same time, he says, yes, I am Ernest L, and I am given the okay for all my money to be inherited to this lady, and also to this man right here. The lady who was portraying her, she was in Greece, I think, one of the main girlfriends. Anyway, this movie, you can tell something's going on. The dead are going to resurrect, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, what's going on here? It's like, obviously they put him in the basement, but he is continually able to talk. With little moans or saying, help me please, and I'm like, huh? So as I'm watching it, you just know what's going to happen. It's just, I found this one to be a little boring. You're just waiting for the action, for something to come, but it's just the two douchebags just talking about their lifestyles and how they're feeling about the like what they're doing to him. So it's like, yeah, it's okay. And it's like you're just waiting for something to happen. And ultimately, yes, something does happen where the man is in between worlds, and a whole bunch of people come. They're just dressed up in a certain way. They come and they just are there, I guess. Ultimately, because of the hypnotism going on, the old man passes on to the next world, and the male douchebag, ultimately becomes the next person who's stuck in between worlds. Lo and behold, Tom Atkins plays a police chief and sees what happens to the guy. He tries and starts shooting his gun, and I'm just like, this was before I watched Night of the Creeps. This is too funny. Second one is the Black Cat, and this one's just a combination of it's a combination of many tales. Bernice, the Black Cat, the one where the guy's getting immured in the wall. There's no telltale heart of the philosophy of furniture, but I've read some of Poe's works. And Pit and the Pendulum. Pit and the Pendulum in the beginning. Thank you, Roger Corman. And also House of Usher is also mentioned, but the name is there, but it's not that important. What's going on here It's more of a man's descent into madness. Harvey Keitel, yes, that's right. Winston Wolfe from Pulp Fiction plays a morally ambiguous character who's distant from his girlfriend. You know, it's like they're not exactly seeing eye to eye. They're not even having any intercourse. So, what's going on? Well, Rod Usher is a man who is very obsessed with images. It's almost like he's trying to be the image of his story, and he's doing whatever he can. And of course, what he decides to do is have. It's like when the woman brings home a cat. The woman is played by I forgot who. Um, yeah, what goes on is like he notices the cat is getting more and more in his way, so he ultimately just ixnays the cat, also ixnays his girlfriend. And what happens is his descent into madness. Is it paranoia? Is it him constantly hearing delusions in his head? It's like, well, in the poem, the first cat represented like his anger, and what happens when he finally snaps in the second one is when the author himself, which really starts to drink into the bottle. He views the cat as like his guilty conscience coming and represent him, saying various things or him thinking things, while the cat's just going, meow, meow. And I was hoping that my cat would have been here, but apparently not. So, what follows is actually a dang good performance from Harvey himself of just how he's slowly losing edge with the language. The language is minimal, that's which I am grateful for, but just what this man does, how he's just goes from being, I guess, morally great to just outright just becoming an eliminator of just taking out people. The girlfriend, what he does, lying to the violin students, which I'm just looking at, I'm like, this guy is just a complete scumbag, and I like that. This is definitely the better of the two stories. The first one, I forgot, has makeup from Tom Savini, and it looks great, but that's just more a visual film. This is more performative, and when I'm watching it, I'm just looking how insane he's willing to go. Putting his wife and the black cat and mirroring them inside a wall building there, then having a bookcase in front of it. I'm just like, God dang, man. So it was just so great to look at. John Amos, yes, plays a detective with a beard and does an alright job. I liked how, acts like a standard cop, always keeping an eye out and everything else. And yeah, it just works well in this one. George Romero knew what he was doing, especially with a zoom out shot to show like the tension and highlights going on when they're going down from the house and what he just did. And a long take of when they're going up the stairs just to represent the heightened anxiety. Ooh, this was so good. But ultimately, at the end, when when Amos's character and Harvey are like right up there at the very end, tension filled and freaking phenomenal. Period. I guess you could tell this. You could technically call this a tale of two kitties, even though there's no cat in the first one. But whatever. So, this was like the first time that Argento actually came to America and did a full-scale production in Philadelphia. So he kind of had to learn how to improve his English, I guess you could say. And I also read in the, what was that? If you go on the IMDb and look at the spoilers, it said Keitel does not want to have any interactions with like the head of his wife, and was ultimately asked why. It's like, oh, it would freak me out. That was pretty funny. Also, something else that there was some. Alright, so if you look at 59 minutes and there's a lady doing some Buddhist chanting saying Nam Myo Renge-kyo, that's Nichiren Buddhism right there. Technically, you're not allowed to show the Gohanzen, so I am actually trying to figure out how the heck that's. You're not allowed to show that scroll per the rules of the SGI, so I'm actually trying to figure out how this got allowed to pass. Apparently, there's a producer or something who's managed to get it to appear in SOB, The Last Detail, and also I think in, what was that? What's Love Got to Do with It? But it was just so weird and unexpected. I'm like, I gotta look into this. So yeah, I mean, both these movies are great. Two legends that came together and did a pretty dang good job. But just imagine if we had all four of them. Holy shit, that would have been freaking phenomenal. So yeah, ultimately, with everything being said, watch The Case of Ernie L for the visuals and the makeup, and watch The Black Cat for a more comprehensive, performative movie.